Everyone loves the history, the charm, and the beaches in South Carolina, specifically Charleston. But before you pack up and make the move here, you should know both sides. Here are the true pros and cons of living in Charleston, South Carolina. Hey there, I'm Kyle Weston, local Charleston realtor, and I help families buy, sell, invest, and relocate to the Charleston area all the time. And I help them make smart moves here in the Lowcountry. So let's talk today about what is awesome about Charleston, South Carolina, and what's not so great. All right, let's start with the good news, the pros list. Let's begin with the scenery and the lifestyle. You're gonna be surrounded by beaches, marshes, waterways, beautiful nature, animals. We've got it all. Hey, and not to mention that Southern charm. Being in Charleston, South Carolina is Southern living at its finest. Item number 2, we have award-winning restaurants, culture, festivals, every single weekend. Charleston does not get boring. Pair that off with way too many restaurants for the amount of people that we have here, we will never run out of choices. We even have multiple James Beard Award winners competing and bouncing from restaurant to restaurant, raising that level of competition and therefore your enjoyment and our very high standard of food here. Item number 3 on our pros list is our booming economy, our job growth more specifically. Companies like Boeing, Bosch, Volvo, Walmart, Amazon, and Google are all investing tens of thousands of jobs here in the Lowcountry over the next decade. So we're not short on any incoming profits from those big conglomerate giants, fueling what they believe to be a city that is up and coming on the rise. Item number 4, and really what gives Charleston that true Southern charm, is the people. We're very friendly here. Southern charm is not a joke. It's a real thing. There's a reason they named a show after it. But well before that, Charleston has deep roots in saying yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir, and leading with your manners. Whether you're in the Mount Pleasant Town Center, the historic downtown of Summerville, or even on your way to the beach, stopping at a store in James Island, people are gonna smile, people are gonna wave, they're gonna strike up conversations with complete strangers. So get used to it if you're not used to talking to people you don't know, especially if you're in a hurry. All right, let's now talk about our cons list. Not my favorite part, that's why I start with the good stuff, but number 1 on the cons list is our humidity and our hurricanes. If you are not used to that hot, sticky, heavy air for a good part of the year, that's gonna be a big adjustment for you. Especially if you're coming from a desert-like landscape or even somewhere in the northern United States, it is very different here. And outside of the normal humidity that's here for seemingly the entire year, besides the very short winter that we have, we also have to deal with the hurricane season every fall. Now don't worry, hurricane prep is just a part of life here. California has its wildfires and earthquakes. The north has its blizzard season and has to deal with all the snow on the roads. We deal with our humidity, our flooding, and our hurricane season, just like everywhere else deals with their problems. Next item on the cons list, traffic. And you might be thinking to yourself, hey, I live in the Northeast, or hey, I'm coming from California. This is no joke. This is not traffic. I know what traffic is. Well, the thing is, our roads are not made for it, and we are the most moved to metro area in the most moved to state per capita as of last year. So we got a lot of people living here from all 50 states in one spot. Our roads have not grown to keep up with this influx of people, let alone having different driver's ed programs all merging onto the same highway. It's a real treat. And while our bridges are gorgeous, just wait until rush hour every morning and every afternoon. You're gonna see what I'm talking about. All right, item number 3 on the cons list is our cost of living. And you might be thinking to yourself, hey, it's in South Carolina, that's in the South. The South is cheaper than the North. It's definitely cheaper than the West. Well, on average, yes. But in Charleston, we're actually a higher cost of living than the national average. Probably more than a lot of suburban areas, even in the North and the West. That being said, our housing prices have risen fast. Over the last several years, most areas have doubled in average price. And a lot of the areas of the country have experienced that same thing post-COVID lockdown, but specific areas like downtown Charleston and Mount Pleasant have risen dramatically. So do a little bit of research before you pick a city and fall in love with it, and then find out it doesn't match your budget. Last item I have for you on the cons list, because I don't want to harp on the negative, I like to focus more on the positive, but that is flood insurance. Depending on where you purchase, you might need flood insurance, and that's in addition to your property insurance, regular hazard insurance, interior insurance. This is another type of insurance that we carry here in this state, and if the home you buy happens to be in a high or even sometimes a moderate flood zone, the state is going to require that you have flood insurance, and that's not optional. Some areas require pricey flood insurance, so when we go to look at properties together, you got to check that out before you put your offer down, especially if we're looking waterfront. That's going to be really expensive. Well, hey, that's all I got for you today. If you're thinking about moving to the Lowcountry, Charleston, South Carolina, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina specifically, where I live and I love, give me a call. Look in the description below, grab my free Charleston Buyer's Guide, which I made specifically about our area. I think it's going to be really useful to you as you make your decision, whether you're going to join us here in the Lowcountry or not. And I hope to see you soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Give me a like, a comment, shoot me a DM, even use the link below to book yourself an appointment in my calendar. I'm happy to just talk to you about the move, maybe some of these pros and cons to see if this is the right choice for you in the first place. So until next time, thank you for the view. I hope that you see more of my videos and we get to know each other a little bit better.